Welcome to another episode of the AMP Podcast, an extension of the Agent Mentorship platform. You can learn more about that online on the website, agentmentorshipplatform.com. We are up to episode 6. Today's episode, Lights, Camera, Action. My name is James Minter with Buckeye Media Services. Around the table with me, not only do we have the Doctor of Real Estate, Mark Dandrea, we've got Justin Humphreys of Humphreys Homes, and a very special guest today from Vault Title, Carly Lear. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
The AMP Podcast is an extension of the AMP program or the Agent Mentorship platform through Red One Realty. You can learn more about that, get some additional information by going to the website, agentmentorshipplatform.com. Again, kind of tipped off one of our sponsors, but we got Vault Title, Griffith Insurance Group, and Red One Realty, sponsors to help make the show happen. Thank you guys very much. And before we go too deep, let's get to know you a little bit better, Carly. So give us that bird's eye view, the 60-second snapshot of how you got to be where you are. The floor is yours.
So again, my name is Carly Lear. I'm with Vault Title Agency. I graduated in 2014 from Ohio State University.
Go Bucks.
Go
what
Bucks.
a championship.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Very exciting night. So I actually majored in human development and family science. So I had no idea that I was going to end up in real estate when I graduated. So I actually started as a receptionist at our sister company, Great American Title, and I answered phones for them for a couple years. And I can honestly say that's how I learned pretty much everything I know about title insurance and real estate in general. Just fielding phone calls, different questions, things like that. I got to know the ins and outs of the process. From there, I moved into more of a sales assistant position with one of our sales reps there. Kind of learned more of the sales perspective in title insurance and real estate. And then I was introduced to Mike and Ken Fairchild, the brokers of Red One Realty. And
Mike would like you to say his last name, so it's not as if he's married to Ken.
Oh,
Ken Fairchild and Mike Hall.
And Mike Hall, yes. Sorry about that. Sorry, Mike.
Mike and Ken Fairchild, they were a couple.
Beautiful.
The Fairly Odd Couple.
Yes.
There you go. So the owners the big heads all got together and decided they wanted to open up a title company that was tailored to the Red One experience, which is the birth of Vault Title. So we are Red One's in-house title company, and we work and try really hard to make sure that Red One has everything they need from a title perspective.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being here. Sorry you were sick last week. I know the feeling, but we're glad to have you today. So thank you very much. All right. It is the AMP Podcast, the podcast that is covering everything about real estate, everything about life, and anything and everything in between. When it comes to real estate, it can be for a new agent. It could be for a Red One Realty agent, people that are just interested to find out more about real estate. But whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, buy or sell real estate, or invest in real estate, this is a podcast where you're going to get a lot of great information through our guest, through our host, and through the resources that are available not only through Red One Realty, but also through the Agent Mentorship platform, which we'll talk a whole lot more about that as we have in the weeks past and today and in the weeks ahead. Again, I'm James Minter with Buckeye Media Services. Our host every week, Mark Dandrea, the Doctor of Real Estate, and Justin Humphreys of Humphreys Homes. Gentlemen, I'm going to give you a chance to share your information. So those that are listening, they want to get in touch with you, learn more about what you have available through Red One Realty, or just to pick your brains about real estate or becoming a marketer of home services, that they can contact you. So let's start with Justin.
Yeah, Justin Humphreys, Humphreys Homes at Red One Realty. You can call, text me at 740-275-1277 or reach me at justin@humphreys-homes.com.
And Mark?
Mark Dandrea, the Doctor of Real Estate. You can reach me or text me at 614-395-6275. And my email is doctorofrealestate, the numeral 1 @gmail.com, all spelled out. Doctorofrealestate, numeral 1 @gmail.com.
And like we've done in the past, and since we have Vault Title here, who is also in the same building as Red One Realty, perhaps we can toss out the address where they can also come to see you and Justin if they ever want to have a sit-down meeting with you guys.
Sure. 921 East Wind Drive, Westerville, Ohio. It's Suite 102, 43081. Come in there. It's the buildings, guys, that you can see from 270. All dark black windows with a red stripe. You can't miss it. It's right off of East Wind Drive. And come in there and see Justin and I on the bottom floor of one of the top offices, and you can find Carly Lear and her staff on the second floor right down the hall.
All right, it's episode 6, Lights, Camera, Action. Our sponsors, Vault Title, Griffith Insurance Group, and Red One Realty. Now, Carly, we're throwing a lot at you at the front, but we try to start every episode with something that's going to allow our listeners to get to know, like, and trust us a little bit more. Actually, just get to know us a little bit better in kind of a different light. We usually do like an icebreaker or a rapid fire type question that you might do at a networking event. So I'm going to do that. Here comes the first question. I'm afraid that Mark and I, being the oldest ones in the group, one of these, or maybe even two of these, you guys don't even know what they are. All right, here's the scenario. You're stranded on a desert island. Do you have a record player, an 8-track player, cassette player, CD player, or an iPod? And what are you listening to on that device? And just so we can give you some time to think about that, Carly, I'm going to go with the veteran here. I'll go with the doctor, Mark Dandrea, first.
Well, I know what an 8-track is. I'm not sure that the salty air would treat that real well. So I'm going to skip the 8-track. I'm going to skip the cassette, and I'm going to go with the CDs. I would have CDs with me. They have covers on them, so it would be great. That does not bespeak or answer to my age. I'm 63, so I understand the 8-track piece, but I just don't think it would perform well on an island.
Fair enough. And what are we listening to?
Oh, goodness, forgot that part. I'm listening to Journey, Boston, Billy Joel, ZZ Top, some AC/DC, not a lot, Christopher Cross.
Well, there's quite the mix, quite the compilation.
Oh, for sure. A lot of jazz. David Sanborn.
Going to be blowing a lot of sand out of that
Saxophone
8-track out there.
Yes, I will not do the 8-track for that reason.
All right, going to jump over to Justin, giving Carly just a little bit more time. Justin, for you?
Yeah, I've been thinking about what I've been listening to lately. I've been on a big 90s kick lately. So I've been on essential 90s hits. So I don't know. That would probably be a CD I'd probably have there. Stuff like Wonderwall, the Cranberries,
Ooh, good one.
TLC, all that stuff that I grew up on. Some of the first music I listened to or memorized were on cassette tapes. It was Julio's Gangster Paradise, and my mom was a big Alanis Morissette fan, so I grew up listening to a lot of that as well. And that was on cassette, so maybe it would be a cassette.
All right, go retro. All right, Carly, ready?
Okay. I'm going to show my age. I'm going to go with an iPod. So, a little white noise while I sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Access to that on the iPod.
Didn't think about that. That's a
yeah.
great call.
Sleep in silence.
Yes.
I love Coldplay.
Love that.
Mark, you're cracking me up. I will also go with an iPod, do an iPod shuffle with all 80s.
You know what I was listening to the other day was Head Over Heels by Tears for Fears. There's a Instagram clip that's going viral right now where I think it's like the lead singer of the band is just playing it on a piano, singing it a cappella. It's incredible. I think some of that like 808 drum and synthesized stuff kind of takes away from some of the great stuff that was coming through at that time, but it's still great era of music.
Best decade ever. All right, let's jump right into the meat and potatoes of the show today. Lights, Camera, Action. That is the episode title. Brought to you by Vault Title, Griffith Insurance Group, and Red One Realty. And we have a guest with us, obviously, as we've alluded to already, Carly Lear with Vault Title. And Carly, let's just start off by you just sharing with us how Vault Title not only works with Red One Realty, but any real estate agent. What separates you guys? How do you guys like to operate? What's that mode of operation for Vault Title, if you will? Floor is yours.
So, like I said, we have a really, really close relationship with the brokers and members of Red One Realty. So, and we're in-house. So I have my office, honestly, right to Mark's. So I'm always available upstairs when agents pop into the office, just, driving by, dropping something off, picking something up. I give them full access to my cell phone, texting, calling whenever they need to. I always let them know that I'm available. So Vault Titles, our team is 8:30 to 5, but I kind of take care of that after hours part. I always make sure that my customers and my agents know that they can either give my cell phone to their buyer or seller if they have questions over the weekends or after hours, during business hours too, of course. And I can talk to them directly so they don't have to kind of take on that full title responsibility. And then also my agents know that I'm available to them as well if they would rather do the communicating with their buyers and sellers.
James, Carly is underselling it. I have, in emergencies, I have emailed, texted the folks at Vault Title, including Carly and the other folks, Alicia, Sally, and others, and they have all been responsive nearly 24/7. So title is one of those mysterious things that our buyers and sellers want to understand more about. And the Vault Title team does an outstanding job of giving our clients, both buyers and sellers, a very high level of comfort of, what's this title commitment thing? What's owner's title insurance? How do I read this? They're just outstanding, and they're available nearly 24/7. So shout out to Carly and her staff. They do a great job.
Yeah, and I like being able to, I'm a little bit old school in the fact that I like to be able to just pop in and get a quick update face-to-face, person-to-person. I love the ability of that. It's usually either Carly or Nicole that I pop in and say hi to, and just if I have a question to ask or just want to get a quick update on a deal that we're working. And I just like the comfort of knowing that I'm in good hands and be comfortable moving forward, because they've always done a really spectacular job. And yeah, it's great having us all in the office there. We can pop in and bounce ideas off of. Mark, it was just a couple months ago, you and I went to Carly with a question about something about a settlement statement, and we got the answer right away because she's literally next door in the office. So it's great.
It's a bunch of fun. You've got to rely upon your partners in this business, right? There's real estate agents. So there's the brokerage, there's the title piece, there's the lending piece. Those are the three main pieces. And it gives our AMP agents a very high level of comfort to know that Vault Title is there for us.
I call that the holy trinity of the real estate transaction.
That was blasphemous. I'll pray for you.
The agent, the lender, and the title company.
You're right. It is the holy trinity of real estate.
See, Carly, I told you didn't know what you're getting into. Carly, can you just kind of give us maybe a rundown of how an agency or a title agency works with not just the real estate agents, but with the homeowners, the importance of the transaction, and how you guys help both parties in the transaction, if you will?
So title insurance companies, we wear two hats in a transaction. We wear our escrow hat. So we are handling all of the funds in a transaction. We are the middleman. So we take in all the funds and we also distribute all of the funds. So that's the first hat that we wear, handling all the money. The second hat that we wear is our insurance hat. So we are insurance agents. We're an insurance agency. We provide an owner's title policy. So we are providing insurance to the new buyers, ensuring that they have a clean and clear title, making sure that everything is squared away for them. And then we're actually issuing an insurance policy for them to make sure that there's no defects or mistakes in the chain of title. And if there are, then they're insured.
I think you just accurately described it the way that I paint it to my clients, because until it's time to buy or sell a house, most people don't know what a title company does, or, they have no clue. So the way I typically describe it is they facilitate the transfer of money between the parties.
Yep.
And they issue you a title policy that protects you from any would-be liens or anything that might try to come out of the woodwork and challenge their ownership of the property.
A lot of people think that owner's title insurance could be a little silly, because owner's title policy is something that it's not like typical insurance, like your homeowners or your auto insurance. That's an insurance that protects you against something that could happen, right? Get in a car wreck, God forbid, your house burns down, things like that. You have insurance to protect you against those things. An owner's title policy protects you against things that have already happened. It protects you against, maybe some equity lines that were taken out right before closing and they were missed by the title company. We're relying on 40 plus years of perfect, handling of documents and deeds and things like that. So it's like insurance kind of protects you against human error as well. So title insurance protects you against those types of things.
Envision this story. So you've got a house that's been bought and sold 12 times. And the 8th time back, the couple who was there got divorced while in ownership. And then the wife decides to sell the home. And unless that title company gets the ex-husband's sign-off on what are called dower rights, that becomes a cloud on the title, is unless those rights are signed off on by the ex-husband. That husband still has a 33% interest in that home. So if that paperwork got missed, or they're divorced, can't find the husband or didn't find the husband, that's something that the new buyer of the home could be subject to that person coming back, knocking on your door and saying, hey, 8 years ago, I didn't sign off on my dower rights. I've got a 33% interest in this home. I'm suing you for that. The owner's title policy and the attorneys for Vault Title would handle that on behalf of the new owner. And these are things that get missed. You go back up to 50 years, or is it 47? 40 years. 40 years worth of transfers have to be clean, clear, and these guys make sure that our buyers are protected.
Our guest today is Carly Lear with Vault Title, one of our sponsors here on the AMP podcast. Today's episode is Lights, Camera, Action. So, Carly, can you dial in on like one or two main things that you're constantly reminding either real estate agents or even homeowners about as it relates to either title insurance, title policies? What are those one or two things that come up that is very important for our listener to understand, and maybe even more importantly, understand this is an area that you can help them with?
Okay. I would say two right off the bat. And I would say, again, dower rights is something that, like Mark mentioned earlier, Ohio is one of the last dower states. I couldn't name the other ones, but one of the very few dower states that are left. So dower rights is a huge thing I try to educate agents, buyers, and sellers on. And then secondly, I would say taxes. I spend a lot of time on the phone in person with sellers, especially just so they understand tax expirations. A lot of agents are really good at explaining it, but if I have agents that aren't comfortable explaining it to their sellers, so I just call their seller for them.
Very good. Okay, we've obviously established a great working relationship between Vault Title and Red One Realty. When it comes to working with the agents and, things that you just shared that you inform the agents of, but also the training that's involved with Red One Realty and helping them to understand everything throughout the process and how important it is to have all the things you just identified and other things as it may relate to title insurance, contracts, etc. What are some of those things, Mark? Maybe I'll lean on you first, that you guys are doing to help those agents to understand how to nurture that relationship and the importance of that relationship between the real estate agent and the title company?
James, that's a great question. So all the AMP agents are trained in what we call the AMP timeline. So if you go into contract with a buyer or a seller, there are certain steps that truly need to be taken in the first 24 to 48 hours after somebody goes into contract. And one of those steps is ensuring that all the parties are connected and the documents are shared with all the parties. So our agents are top-notch at following that AMP timeline. We connect the title company with let's say we have a listing. We connect the title company with the buyer's agent, with the buyer, with our client. And the main information they want is name, cell phone number, email address, and of course they want a copy of the documents that are involved in the transaction. So if you follow this timeline, title is just critical to connect with, provide information to, and then connect title to all the other parties in the transaction. That will smooth out your transaction in general, and AMP agents are very good at that.
Justin, anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, in addition to what Mark just said about making sure title is clued in on all the parties, all their contact information, all the documentation for the transaction, agents can also engage with Vault, and Carly handles this specifically with helping to grow their business as well, and in the form of geo farming. She also helps an incredible amount of agents in our brokerage and on the AMP team provide flyers and pamphlets for their open houses, marketing materials for their listings. So it's really a symbiotic relationship. They have our backs on the transactions, and they also help us with a lot of our marketing stuff too. Carly, you've kind of spearheaded the marketing wing of Vault Title in regard to Red One agents and AMP agents. How's that been? How was that? How did you kind of get started in that? And do you enjoy doing that?
So the marketing piece is somewhere I can use my creativity and help agents kind of harness their creativity. Yeah, the postcards are fun. A lot of agents are timid to get started with that. They think maybe they can't afford it or anything like that. And we have a pretty good process, and it keeps it simple, it's streamlined, and it is very affordable. So I love meeting with especially new agents because they're excited to get out there and get going, and this is just a way that we can help.
And Carly, I know that Justin alluded to this earlier, but I mean, in terms of helping them to grow their business, anything else you want to, comment on as it relates to what you try to do, the things that you want to provide, and let them know of services that you offer to help them indeed grow their business?
Yeah. So my biggest thing, and this is what I try to stress to all agents, is that I want to be the best title partner that I can be. So I don't want you to have to feel like you have to take on, the title role as well as a real estate agent. I would like to take that from you. Like I said earlier, I love talking with buyers and sellers. It's such an exciting time. It's such an emotional time. So I like being there for your customers. And, my job in a way is to make my customers feel good and confident in their title partner, and as you should in all of your real estate partners. But yeah, I think my favorite part is just making sure that my agents know that I am going to take care of your client as if it's my own.
Part-time counselor.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
Carly,
that's a great way to put it.
All right. Again, our guest today is Carly Lear with Vault Title. We'll have more with her when we come back from our break. We're going to look at the title checklist. This is going to be good for agents, something you can dial in on, be mindful of, make sure you're dotting your I's, crossing your T's. Thanks for listening to the AMP Podcast. Today's episode is Lights, Camera, Action. Our sponsors, Vault Title, Griffith Insurance Group, and Red One Realty. We'll be right back.
The Griffith Insurance Group. They're more than just a family business. They're your family safety net. With over 34 years of combined experience, Scott and Jason know everyone is different. That's why they take the time to understand individual situations and craft their coverage that gives you peace of mind. Whether it's protecting your home, your vehicle, or your business, they're here to ensure that you're covered. At the Griffith Insurance Group, they're not just a father-son team. They're trusted partners in safeguarding your future. Experience the difference of a family-focused approach. Contact the Griffith Insurance Group today and let them help you secure your tomorrow. 740-936-4686 is the phone number, and online at griffithinsurance.net. That's griffithinsurance.net.
Red One Realty, an independent brokerage founded in 2019, is redefining what it means to support agents. With nearly 1,000 agents already on board, Red One Realty offers an unbeatable combination of value and opportunity, helping agents close more deals while keeping more of their hard-earned commissions. Red One Realty sets itself apart by its commitment to exceptional training, cutting-edge technology, and unmatched support. From intensive boot camp training to Survive and Thrive training series and the Next Level Agent Mentorship Program, they provide the tools and guidance to help agents grow their business. Plus, with the multiple layers of management always ready to assist, you'll never feel like you're navigating the real estate world alone. Discover why so many agents are choosing Red One Realty to take their career to new heights at joinredonerealty.com. That's joinredonerealty.com.
Hi guys, today's episode is sponsored by Vault Title. At Vault Title, they know your home is more than just four walls. It's your investment, your future, and your dream. With our dedicated team of experts, we provide secure, reliable title and closing services that protect your most valuable asset. From the first handshake to the final signature, Vault Title is here every step of the way, making sure your closing is seamless and stress-free. Vault Title, protecting your dream, safeguarding your future. When it comes to title services, trust that team that puts you first. Vault-title.com. That's VAULT-TITLE.com.
Welcome back to the AMP Podcast, an extension of the AMP program or the Agent Mentorship Platform through Red One Realty. You can learn more about that by going to the website agentmentorshipplatform.com. This week's episode, Lights, Camera, Action. Our sponsors, Vault Title, Griffith Insurance Group, and Red One Realty. And our guest today, Carly Lear of Vault Title. Now, Carly, we might have had a similar question earlier, but I guess from an agent's perspective, what are those things that you want to encourage agents to make sure that they are including as they button up all their contracts and all their paperwork that they're submitting and getting to you as their title agency partner?
I always say 3 or 4 things that agents need to, at the bare minimum, they need to send with all the contract documents. We need to know commissions. We need to know if there's any HOA information up front that can slow the process down. HOA companies sometimes are a little hard to work with. Of course.
They're
No
out there.
offense, HOAs.
Yeah, they are out there. There's really good ones too.
Mhm.
So HOA information, seller contact information is the absolute biggest one. We have to be able to get in contact with sellers because we are going to be clearing title.
Very good. Good information. Anything else from either one of you gentlemen?
Carly, you also, with all the other stuff that you do for Vault Title, you also started doing closings last year or the year before?
Oh, that's a great question. Time flies. I think it was last year.
'Cause I think I remember you kind of transitioning into that. So
Yes.
you wear a ton of hats at Vault Title, and we love to see you. And we've done a couple closings together. We did one in Grove City.
Do you remember that one?
Right at the kitchen table for the sellers. And so tell us a little bit about that from a title's perspective. When you go to do a closing as the closer, quote unquote, what's your role there? What's your responsibility in that?
So I like to be at the beginning of the process, at the beginning of the transaction, speaking with all of the agents in the middle of the transaction, being involved with the lender, all of that good stuff. And then I also, like the cherry on top, I like to do a lot of my own closings. So I like to be there to, thoroughly go over the settlement statement, make sure that buyers and sellers understand all of the documents, as most notaries do, just to make sure that we're sealing it up with a really pretty bow at the end.
Mark, you can probably speak to how important it is. I say this all the time, how important it is or how nice it is to have a closer who is jovial, somebody that can crack jokes, somebody that's very personal, and somebody that knows the documents. Nothing's worse than when you have a closer who's like, where did I get that signature, or did I miss this? Or I've had that. I'm sure we all have. But Carly makes sure to make that a great experience for the clients, which I really like.
I mean, we go through it hundreds and hundreds of times, but you've got your clients who may be doing this for the first time or maybe just the second or third time. And the job that Carly and the folks at Vault 2, all of the notaries that Vault engages with, do an outstanding job of making that emotional, stressful process come to a close smoothly. As you indicated earlier, some levity never hurts because you're looking at a stack of papers. You're going to be initialing and signing. I tell my clients all the time, look, we can go in there and be in and out in 30 minutes. If you're a reader, it'll take us a couple hours. Doesn't matter to me. I want you to have a high level of comfort that you understand what's going on today. And Carly and her team do a great job of explaining those documents so that our clients come out of that closing with a really good feeling.
Excellent. Really good stuff. Again, our guest today, Carly Lear. She is with Vault Title, one of our sponsors, of course, for the AMP podcast, an extension of the Agent Mentorship Platform. You can learn more about all of that by going to that website, agentmentorshipplatform.com. If you're listening for the first time, the AMP podcast is designed to talk about anything and everything real estate, real life, and anything and everything in between when it comes to homes or real estate. It's buying, selling, investing. If you're in the business, helping you to become a better marketer of real estate services. This week's episode is Lights, Camera, Action. Our sponsors, Vault Title, Griffith Insurance Group, and Red One Realty. Before we jump into our next segment, I'll let you know that our speaker next week is going to be Malika Smith of Smith Homes. She is billed as the real estate matchmaker. She'll be sharing some valuable information, her expertise, and looking at real estate as a true investment. Now, as we move into our next segment, which is action steps, action items, we are looking to help those of you who are in the industry trying to improve in your business, or maybe you're just getting started, trying to find out what those things are to help you stay focused on building a successful real estate business. So grab a pen and paper, get ready. I believe we're going to start with you, Mark. What are those things that should be top of mind for every agent that is wanting to grow their business, become more successful in their business? Practical action steps that they can take. What do you got for us?
So when someone is in the business of marketing real estate services, as a new agent, a lot gets thrown at you. As an experienced agent, it's important for you to go through your business plan and find those tools that will make your transaction smoother and separate those tools from the marketing tools that will grow your business. Those are two entirely different things. So one of the things we focus on the AMP platform is the multiple listing service. It's just one of the many tools we use, the multiple listing service, .loop, Folio, Bold Trail, our social media platforms. Well, in the MLS, which is an IDX server that all of our listings show up on, it is the same IDX server that is shared with Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, and Homes.com. All of the listings germinate or emanate from the MLS. We ask our AMP agents to be extraordinarily highly proficient at 4 things on the MLS. Number one, you can go on the MLS as an agent any day, anytime, and find out how many houses are on the market at any given time. It's important to know that. Your clients expect it of you. What's going on in the market? Right now, there's between 3,650 and 3,700 homes on the market. So that's number one. Number two, we must, as experienced or expert agents, be able to produce what's called a comparative market analysis for our buying clients to determine what is an appropriate amount to offer on a home that's being listed for sale. So that's called a buyer CMA. Number three, we need to have a high level of expertise and experience on providing our listing clients, our sellers, with a CMA, a comparative market analysis, to help them determine, what do we list your home at? What's the market going to bear for your home from the information that we can gather from the market? And then finally, and last but not least, our buying clients receive, sometimes daily, listings from us that meet their criteria. So we can set up what's called an auto search, plug in their bedrooms, baths, garage, where their home, where they want their home to be. In other words, we have them paint their vision for what it is they want to purchase. And we set up an auto search for that. And that first list is usually a little longer because it might be the first time that you've exposed your buying client to the number of houses that meet their vision. And after that, every time a home comes onto the market, no matter who listed it, there are nearly 10,000 agents in the Columbus Board of Realtors. No matter who listed it, we set it up so that our buying clients, if it meets their criteria, will see that house within 5 minutes. It'll come to their email. So those are the 4 things. Know how many houses are on the market. Be able to do a CMA for a buyer that's accurate and gives good information. Be able to do a CMA for a seller that's accurate and gives them good information. And set up an appropriate auto search for your buying clients so that they can find the home of their dreams sooner rather than later. Those are the 4 things that we focus on the AMP platform as it relates to the MLS. That explanation of the MLS is just one of the 22 different tools we train on the AMP platform, the agent mentorship platform. And we provide that training on Thursdays. There's 2 of them during the month, the second and fourth Thursdays at 6 p.m. That is over Zoom on a platform we call Circle. And it's also, you're invited to attend that in person at the training center at Red One on East Wind Drive. And then the leaders of AMP also coach through the Circle Zoom on every Tuesday of the month. So you got 2 Thursdays, 4 Tuesdays. And in between there, we choose a Saturday morning as long as the Buckeyes aren't playing. And from 10 to noon, we will meet in the conference room or go out into the field and train our AMP agents in person for a couple hours. And then, of course, all of our leaders are available to schedule one-on-one 30-minute coaching sessions if our AMP platform team members wish to go over a particular item. So you got 2 Thursdays, 4 Tuesdays, a Saturday, and during the week and on Sundays, just about any time that our calendars allow us to additionally coach and train and mentor our AMP agents. So a lot of opportunities.
Mark, you describe it, and let's pretend I'm a brand new agent. I just got my license yesterday. Why is it so important that agents are able to conduct or create an accurate CMA?
That's a very specific question. I'll go broad and then I'll get into the CMA piece. I mean, Justin, when as a new agent, you've gone through your education, you've chosen your sponsoring broker. You've invested in your education. Starting a new business in real estate can be a daunting task. So most new agents wake up one morning and they're in their new brokerage and they've got their license, and all of them ask themselves, now what? That's where AMP steps in, exclusively provided by Red One Realty. And we assist new agents to understand how to market, grow, maintain, and sustain the type of real estate business that will allow them to achieve their vision in real estate. Their vision is associated with the number of folks that they want to help on an annual basis and the amount of commissions that generates. So that's the broader view. As it relates to your question in particular, as a licensed agent, you have fiduciary responsibilities, accountability, confidentiality, obedience, as long as we're not asked to do anything illegal, and loyalty and full disclosure. So those fiduciary responsibilities come with the desire of your client for you to have the expertise in providing them with an accurate comparative market analysis. If they're going to buy a home, they want to make sure they're getting a value. If they want to sell their home, they want to make sure they're getting the most money in the least period of time with the least stress on them. So a comparative market analysis is a huge deal when it comes to providing that kind of information to your client. So as a new agent, you need to know what you're doing on the MLS.
A lot of information to unpack there, and I would encourage you to certainly reach out to Mark or Justin. Schedule a time to sit down, have a conversation. They'll be more than happy to answer all your questions, talk about more of the training tools that they do through the AMP platform. And you can also visit the website, the agentmentorshipplatform.com. And Justin, your action item today, also something that you guys talk about in the training with the AMP platform, and something that you and the Red One Realty agents work directly with Carly on, in fact.
So my action step today, since you're here, I figured we'd talk about geofarming a little bit. We kind of touched on it in our opening segment there, but I wanted to drill down on it a little bit more. So I live in Amherst Village in Westerville. So again, I'm going to pretend I'm a brand new agent and I come to you. Carly, what can I do to become expert agent in my neighborhood? How can Vault Title help me do this thing called geofarming? We would pick out like I live in Amherst Village, so I would want to hit everybody in my neighborhood. So I would come to you with a neighborhood and with an idea of what I want to do, and how would we run with it from there? Would I bring my own marketing material? Would you guys help me develop that? How do I find the addresses? What kind of, explain that process a little bit more?
Yeah, of course. So we kind of handle all of that for you. You can have as little as you want or as much. I always tell agents you have creative freedom. So if you're a super creative person, come to me with every single little detail already planned out and I can rock with that. Or you can come to the table and have absolutely no idea. And I can also help you with that. So, you live in, what was your neighborhood?
Amherst Village.
Amherst Village. All right. So we can handle pulling the list. First, we want to establish a budget. That's important for a lot of agents, especially agents just getting into real estate. They might not have picked up yet, but they do want to do a little marketing here and there. So we like to establish a budget, and then we go forward to pulling the actual mailing list. So we would pull your mailing list, see how many homes are in your neighborhood, and then we can adjust accordingly. We can add a street or two. We can take off a street or two if it's not quite meeting your budget. Once all of that is established, then we kind of move on to the fun part. Like, do you want to be a quarterly sender? Do you want to be an every monther? But a lot of times agents think that they can send out a card here and there and maybe it'll still work, but consistency is key with geofarming. So however often you want to send them out, keep doing it for a year, 2 years, however long. And then we also have a designer on staff. So he does all of our design work. So again, if you have exactly in your brain exactly how the card, how you want it to look, we can work with that and recreate it, or we can work from scratch. We also have a library of 1 million examples if we want to tie some together.
Is that Rob? What's his name? Rob?
Rob Napier.
Rob Napier, and he helps with the design and the marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I know Mark is big on the pop art. Mark's
Mark loves pop art.
chomping at the bit to jump in with the pop art over here. So, Mark, what's the one you love to use? And
you remember this from when we started talking about 2 or 3 years ago when you joined AMP. Geofarming is exactly what Justin and Carly just described. It's determining the community within which you want to be the agent that is of most assistance to that community, determining your budget, your message, and then to do it consistently. James, you know this. In marketing, when you initially reach out to a group of people that you would like to do business with, first time you reach out, they're kind of not paying much attention. Second time you reach out, they start paying more attention. And by the third time and beyond, you have grown a little trust with these folks. And so that consistency and the offering, the messaging is very, very important. And I think Justin and Carly covered it well, but it's a very specific, kind of 4 or 5 step process. And Vault Title does an outstanding job. Justin mentioned pop art. So we're all used to, you live in we talked about this, I think, previously. I'm sure you get postcards or door hangers from agents. Justin lives in Amherst. He's getting blasted with them. Carly, where do you live?
I live in Blacklick.
Carly lives in Blacklick. She's getting hammered with postcards and door hangers. I live in the country. I don't get many of those, but I do get them on occasion. The key here is the level of expertise that you wish to communicate to the folks that you're wanting to influence to choose you when the timing is right in their life to sell their home. So I think that's critical, and pop art goes a long ways towards getting folks to pay attention to your messaging. So we can talk more about what that means some other time, but you know what pop art is. It's just not your typical, here's my picture, here's a picture of a house, and gee, I can help you postcard. We want folks to pay attention to the message that we're trying to provide. And one of the ways to do that is to make your postcard stand out. That's pop art.
And I think one of the key things with anything involving marketing is that you just need to find a way to be in front of your targeted audience or your prospective audience on a consistent basis. In my business, I always talk about 12 touch points. One time a month, find some way to be in front of that audience, whether they need your services or not in that moment. Be the expertise, be someone that's giving them some free advice, a joke of the day, anything, whether they need your services now or not. They might need it 3 months from now, 6 months from now. But if you've been there for the past 3 months, 6 months, in some capacity, in front of them, you're top of mind, and it works.
And let's all be honest. You're not going to get a postcard in the mail and look at it and say, "This is so amazing. This person has to sell my $700,000 house because this postcard looks so great." That's not really the goal, right?
That is not the goal.
It's just to be in front of them consistently, like we've been talking about, so that when they think about a realtor, they think about you. And maybe they throw the card away or whatever, but it's just they see your face, they see your name, they see the brokerage. And so that's all goes towards staying top of mind.
And one of the mantras on the AMP platform, James, is anything home. I mean, these postcards should provide assistance to the folks that you're sending them to. Offer a home warranty. Offer them a list of your trusted vendors and contractors. Talk to your potential clients about their property taxes and the possibility of them getting those reduced. As expert real estate agents, we are anything home folks. And these postcards aren't designed to just reach out and say, hey, if you want to sell your house, I'm the one. It's not about that. It's about anything home and being of service to the community so that you can help them when it comes to their home.
Buckeye schedules,
community
events,
magnets,
that
community
kind of
events.
stuff goes a long way too. Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, I see more and more people using the Every Door Direct approach with USPS, where you got a 6x9 card, kind of a different size. The front is either informative or maybe it gives them the Buckeye schedule, and on the back they got something that's related to their business or houses in the area that are for sale. But it doesn't have to be a sales pitch. You're just in front of them, giving them some knowledge, maybe upcoming festivals, maybe the lineup for the Ohio State Fair, a variety of things, but something different every month. Keeps you top of mind. They don't look at it as a sales piece. They're looking forward to seeing what you're going to send next, maybe. You're just trying to be in front of them on a consistent basis.
That's correct.
Last little thing, Carly, correct me if I'm wrong, but if we can work out a partnership to where Vault Title can also advertise on the card, is there an opportunity for shared costs there, or a little bit of a sponsorship by Vault Title to help share in some of those costs for the geofarming?
Yes, absolutely. So Vault Title is allowed to contribute to costs for the percentage of the card that they take up. So for just our direct mailing standard cards, they're 8.5 by 5.5. Agent takes up the entire front, and then on the back half, Vault Title takes up about 33%, which allows us to pay for 33% of the cost. So a good rule of thumb, I always tell agents, if they're looking for a number budget-wise, for every 200 cards with our 33% contribution, it's around $100.
That's great. And throw a lender in there too, right? Is that a possibility as well?
Yes, absolutely.
So that's a great opportunity for agents that might be light on the budget, still want to geofarm, get Vault Title involved, get your favorite lender involved, and we're off to the races.
Co-op marketing is key, and we will always conform to RESPA. So we make sure that everybody puts in their fair share to cover the expenses.
that like a breathing exercise, RESPA? or
RESPA, it is. Yeah, it's short for deep breathing. Yes, it is. I did not know what those letters stand for, but I do know they control us in that regard, and we want to we want to conform.
All due respect to RESPA.
Yes, all due respect.
All right, going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got a couple of agents we're going to spotlight. Could be painful. No, it's not. And we're going to ask the coach, which will be questions that if you are new in the industry or even if you're a seasoned veteran, some of these questions that come through could provide some good insight as to things that you could do better or maybe some answers that you're looking for. It is the AMP Podcast, sponsored by Vault Title, Griffith Insurance Group, and Red One Realty. The podcast about real estate, real life, and anything and everything in between. Our guest today is Carly Lear with Vault Title. Your host, Mark Dandrea, the Doctor of Real Estate, and Justin Humphreys of Humphreys Homes. And I'm James Mentor with Buckeye Media Services. The AMP Podcast continues right after this.
The Griffith Insurance Group. They're more than just a family business. They're your family safety net. With over 34 years of combined experience, Scott and Jason know everyone is different. That's why they take the time to understand individual situations and craft their coverage that gives you peace of mind. Whether it's protecting your home, your vehicle, or your business, they're here to ensure that you're covered. At the Griffith Insurance Group, they're not just a father-son team. They're trusted partners in safeguarding your future. Experience the difference of a family-focused approach. Contact the Griffith Insurance Group today and let them help you secure your tomorrow. 740-936-4686 is the phone number, and online at griffithinsurance.net. That's griffithinsurance.net.
Red One Realty, an independent brokerage founded in 2019, is redefining what it means to support agents. With nearly 1,000 agents already on board, Red One Realty offers an unbeatable combination of value and opportunity, helping agents close more deals while keeping more of their hard-earned commissions. Red One Realty sets itself apart by its commitment to exceptional training, cutting-edge technology, and unmatched support. From intensive boot camp training to Survive and Thrive training series and the Next Level Agent Mentorship Program, they provide the tools and guidance to help agents grow their business. Plus, with the multiple layers of management always ready to assist, you'll never feel like you're navigating the real estate world alone. Discover why so many agents are choosing Red One Realty to take their career to new heights at joinredonerealty.com. That's joinredonerealty.com.
Hi guys, today's episode is sponsored by Vault Title. At Vault Title, they know your home is more than just four walls. It's your investment, your future, and your dream. With our dedicated team of experts, we provide secure, reliable title and closing services that protect your most valuable asset. From the first handshake to the final signature, Vault Title is here every step of the way, making sure your closing is seamless and stress-free. Vault Title, protecting your dream, safeguarding your future. When it comes to title services, trust that team that puts you first. Vault-title.com. That's VAULT-TITLE.com.
Welcome back to the AMP Podcast. This week's episode, Lights, Camera, Action, sponsored by Vault Title, Griffith Insurance Group, and Red One Realty. My name is James Mentor, along with Mark Dandrea, the Doctor of Real Estate, Justin Humphreys, Humphreys Homes, and our special guest today, Carly Lear of Vault Title. And Vault Title is the sponsor of our next segment, which is our Agent Spotlight. We've got two, one from Justin, one from Mark. Justin, we'll start with you first. Who do you got?
I wanted to highlight one of our longtime agents, Scott Hoffman. Scott Hoffman's been with the AMP program for a long time, almost as long as I have, if not just as long. And Scott, what I love about Scott is that he's always happy to help. He's happy to also engage with agents that might be a little bit newer and need some assistance in certain fields. Scott's doing, I think, a shadowing opportunity where he's allowing a brand new agent to come on an open house with him upcoming. So shout out to Scott Hoffman. We love seeing you at the office and on the trainings. Love to have you as a part of the AMP group. Scott's tagline is right realtor, right service, right time. Scott Hoffman. So shout out to Scott Hoffman.
It's a great logo. I remember when he created that. Fantastic. Scott's a great example, and he is definitely somebody we should highlight. My pick of the week, so to speak, is Candace Guest. Candace started in the AMP platform probably about 2.5 or 3 years ago. She'll correct me if I've got that wrong. Candace and I had a good heart-to-heart about 2.5 years ago. And Candace is married. She and her wife have, I think, at least 2 kids. Sorry, Candace, I don't have this right. Might be 3. And she was very frank with me as one of the leaders of AMP. She said, Mark, I'm going to be very focused on my family. In AMP, we understand that everybody has family, faith, social life, and work. Faith, even if it's in yourself. So real estate's got to fit into your life. Well, she made it very clear that her life was going to be filled with her wife, her kids, her social life. She said, my vision is, help 4 or 5 people a year. I'll be more than happy with that. I said, Candace, I'm, first of all, very proud of you to recognize that. And second of all, thank you for sharing it with me. Oftentimes, James, when folks join the agent mentorship platform, they have perhaps a misunderstanding of what our expectations are. And our expectations are for you to join the AMP platform and achieve your vision. If that's a couple of transactions a year or 20 transactions a year, we don't care. We just want to help you achieve that. So kudos to Candace. She made a really good decision, and she is focused on that. And by the way, she meets or beats her goal every year because of her extraordinary focus. So Candace, well done. Tickled for you. And her tagline is "Get with Guest." So it's a good one.
All right, so kudos to Scott and Candace, 2 outstanding agents within the AMP platform. Want more information about the AMP platform, the Agent Mentorship Platform? Go to the website, agentmentorshipplatform.com. And before the end of the show, I'll give you both Doctor of Real Estate Mark Dandrea's phone number, email, contact information. Same for Justin Humphreys. If you ever want to schedule a time to talk with either one of them, they will make themselves available, answer any questions that you might have. If you're considering real estate, looking to possibly become a marketer of real estate services, maybe even a Red One Realty agent, they will make themselves available, let you pick their brain, find out if it's a good fit. Either way, you're going to make a new friend one way or the other. Hanging out with us today is Carly Lear of Vault Title. Next week, we got a special guest, Malika Smith of Smith Homes, the real estate matchmaker. Going to talk about real estate investments and a couple of other things. Now we've reached the point in the AMP podcast where it is time to ask the coach a question. These are questions that are fielded by the leadership team of the AMP platform from Red One Realty agents. But for those of you who are listening, maybe there's something that's going to be asked that could be helpful for you in your career. But I like to highlight this, just one of the support mechanisms that are in place to help the agents that work with Red One Realty specifically. Justin, I think you're going to lead things off for us today. What do we got?
So we had a couple great questions that came in over the past few days for Ask the Coach. And the question that caught my eye was, what's the best way for agents to present multiple offer situations to their seller client and the best way to respond to the buyer's agent if their offer was not selected? Mark, did you want to?
Yeah, we'll go.
in?
Yeah, let me. We'll toss this back and forth.
Yeah, I love it.
But on the AMP platform and in general, agents, I believe, take this approach. James, it's a great question that this particular agent asked because we have these fiduciary responsibilities. We must protect our buyers and we must protect our sellers. And then at the end of all this, if something isn't bought and something isn't sold, nobody's happy. And of course, nobody gets paid. So whether it's spring, summer, fall, or winter, our conversations with our buying clients are confidential and private, but they are based upon our clients' desire to own the home they've seen. They can pull up to that home every day and love it. That's the home that we're going to work very, very hard to see to it that they're the ones that get their offer accepted. So best way to present multiple offers, if you're in a multiple offer situation, is put your best foot forward. If I'm understanding the question correctly, put your best foot forward the first time. You're only going to get one of 3 answers. Yes, we took your offer. Great. Everybody's happy. You may get a counter on something that your buying client is willing to conform with. And the third answer is the one that nobody wants to hear, but it's no, we took somebody else's. So our buyers, we work hard to assure that no matter which of those answers they get, that they're as happy about it as they can be.
that there is nothing they would have done in the offer that they presented that they would have changed in order to obtain that house. So in multiple offer situations, put your best foot forward for sure. As a seller, Justin, tell us about one of your situations where you listed a house and got 4 or 5 offers and how you handle that.
Yeah. So my process is if you go to red1agent.com, under the resources tab, there's a document there that our leadership has provided to us called the multiple offer spreadsheet. This spreadsheet allows me to plug in all of the offers. Let's say we got 4 offers. The spreadsheet allows me to plug in all of the offers and the important aspects of those offers. And it allows me to present it to my seller client in a very digestible format that they can look over and review each offer, and we can have a good discussion about each offer to pick which one is best for them to accept in their situation. So that's how I present multiple offers to my seller clients is using that spreadsheet and, just having a conversation with them about each offer, really making sure that they are comfortable, confident, picking one of those offers and moving forward. In regards to communicating the outcome of those offers to the multiple agents that might have submitted them, we lived through some interesting changes in our market. One of them was during the boom time of interest rates at 3%. I know there's drivers of the market, but there was a certain time where interest rates were at 3%. Inventory was at an all-time low. And, you'd list a house and you'd get 17, 15 offers in the first weekend or the first few days or the first 48 hours. There's lots of agents there that have anxious clients, and the agents are anxious and they want to know, are you going to accept our offer? What's the seller thinking? So I always take the time. If there's a bunch of offers, you're probably going to get a text message from me or a notification from Showing Time saying, hey, we've accepted an offer. Thank you so much for your time and effort. If it's a few offers and they're closely competitive, I'll call the agents involved and say, hey, I just wanted to thank you for showing our property. Thank you for taking the time to submit the offer. We ended up accepting another offer, but my client has given me permission to share the reason why. And here's the things in your offer that made them uncomfortable. Because we've all been on the other side of that coin where we're waiting in the dark and our clients want to know, hey, is my offer accepted? And why didn't they like it? Or what could we have done better? So that feedback from responsible listing agents is very important. It helps everybody. So do unto others as you wish to be done to you. I like to take the time and show the respect to let people know why and thank them.
Communicate.
All right. And do you have another question, Mark?
The question that came through from our AMP platform was lack of tenure. We actually had an agent who expressed that in the recent days that her lack of tenure, or you could say experience in real estate, was something that she was questioned about by the other agents, I guess. It could have been from her potential clients, but it's by reading the question, I think it was coming from the other agents. Whether it's coming from your clients or the other agents, I've always been confused by a lack of tenure question on anybody's part. I've emoted this before when I was recruiting at Hondros on behalf of another brokerage. I would we'd set up tables and all the agents come through on career night. And I would hear from other tables where the broker would say, we only work with full-time agents. And James, I just don't understand that in my mind, there's no difference between somebody who has family, faith, social life, and work outside of real estate to another agent who has family, faith, social life, and work only in real estate. There is no difference between those two, other than the fact that the agent who has work outside of real estate is also taking on the extraordinary, rewarding, and satisfying challenge of starting and running their own business. So I admire those people. They are not, by any stretch, part-time. As it relates to tenure, the AMP platform is designed specifically to bring on new agents. We have plenty of experienced agents as well, and get them through our coaching process so that their level of expertise and experience, the shadowing opportunities they experience with other experienced agents, it brings them up to a level of expertise very, very quickly. So I'm confused by the question. I know the agent who asked it. She is an outstanding agent with a broad level of experience and expertise, especially in investing. So I'm confused by that, and I don't know why that question gets asked very often.
And it does come up, especially for agents who maybe have only been licensed for a year or less. And one of the things that we have coached on, and this is a quote from you directly, is, okay, so we'll just role play it. I'm in a listing appointment with a client, and the client says, well, I've interviewed with 2 or 3 other agents who have 5 more years of experience in this business than you do. Why should I pick you? And you have trained us, Mark, to respond to that in the following way, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I hear what you're saying, but I'm on a team of agents that has more than 60 years of experience in this business. If there's ever a question that I don't know, I will get the answer for you, and I'll have that information for you in a blink of an eye. So my lack of experience or my lack of tenure in the business does not mean that I'm going to be any less effective than any other agent that's out there. Actually, it might be the opposite. So because an agent that's been in the business for 10 years, they might have 7 or 8 deals going on right now where you're number 3 of 7. For me, you might be the most important thing that I have going on right now. So you're going to have my full
undivided attention.
Yeah. So that's how I would approach that conversation.
A great point.
It is the AMP Podcast. Today's episode, Lights, Camera, Action. Our sponsors for Season 1, Vault Title, Griffith Insurance Group, and Red One Realty. And we have a special guest in studio today with the Doctor of Real Estate, Mark Dandrea, and Justin Humphreys is Carly Lear of Vault Title. Now, before we head to break, we're going to look at the market pulse. This is an opportunity to give you a quick snapshot, interest rates, inventory, average time that houses are spinning on the market right now. Keep in mind, all that changes almost daily anyway, so if you want an up-to-date number, feel free to give Justin or Mark a call, and they'll be more than happy to give you current numbers on all these. Let's start with interest rates. What do you got, Justin?
So interest rates right now are sitting at 7.08 as I checked them this morning. They've been a little bit volatile, kind of jumping up and down between 7 and 7.25, but we're in a good trend right now. They've dropped over the past few days, and we hope that they continue in that direction.
Inventory on the market, James, 3,650 houses to be exact as of about 2 hours ago. The AMP agents check that a couple times a week, usually coming out of a weekend and going into a weekend. So you always want to get a sense of how many houses are on the market. It's 3,650, and the average days on the market, Justin and I talked about this before with the podcast, it's sitting right around 31. And from our perspective, that's an adjustment. That is not a slowing of the market. When houses sit a little bit longer, that's just the market adjusting. Houses are still selling fairly rapidly. Sellers are getting a great value. Buyers are still getting a good value. 31 days on the market is your average time. And that's from the date they get listed to the date they go into contract. That's not closing.
All right, up against our final break and our final segment. When we come back, we've got Mindset Matters, and then our last question as it ties in with the episode title of Lights, Camera, Action. It is the AMP Podcast, brought to you by Vault Title, Griffith Insurance Group, and Red One Realty. Final segment for today's episode will happen right after this.
The Griffith Insurance Group. They're more than just a family business. They're your family safety net. With over 34 years of combined experience, Scott and Jason know everyone is different. That's why they take the time to understand individual situations and craft their coverage that gives you peace of mind. Whether it's protecting your home, your vehicle, or your business, they're here to ensure that you're covered. At the Griffith Insurance Group, they're not just a father-son team. They're trusted partners in safeguarding your future. Experience the difference of a family-focused approach. Contact the Griffith Insurance Group today and let them help you secure your tomorrow. 740-936-4686 is the phone number, and online at griffithinsurance.net. That's griffithinsurance.net.
Red One Realty, an independent brokerage founded in 2019, is redefining what it means to support agents. With nearly 1,000 agents already on board, Red One Realty offers an unbeatable combination of value and opportunity, helping agents close more deals while keeping more of their hard-earned commissions. Red One Realty sets itself apart by its commitment to exceptional training, cutting-edge technology, and unmatched support. From intensive boot camp training to Survive and Thrive training series and the Next Level Agent Mentorship Program, they provide the tools and guidance to help agents grow their business. Plus, with the multiple layers of management always ready to assist, you'll never feel like you're navigating the real estate world alone. Discover why so many agents are choosing Red One Realty to take their career to new heights at joinred1realty.com. That's joinred1realty.com.
The Griffith Insurance Group. They're more than just a family business. They're your family safety net. With over 34 years of combined experience, Scott and Jason know everyone is different. That's why they take the time to understand individual situations and craft their coverage that gives you peace of mind. Whether it's protecting your home, your vehicle, or your business, they're here to ensure that you're covered. At the Griffith Insurance Group, they're not just a father-son team. They're trusted partners in safeguarding your future. Experience the difference of a family-focused approach. Contact the Griffith Insurance Group today and let them help you secure your tomorrow. 740-936-4686 is the phone number, and online at griffithinsurance.net. That's griffithinsurance.net.
Welcome back. It's the AMP Podcast in the home stretch for episode 6, Lights, Camera, Action. Sponsored by Vault Title, Griffith Insurance Group, and Red One Realty. If you want more information on the AMP platform, you can go to the website, agentmentorshipplatform.com. Now, before we go any further, let's get the contact information out for all three of you today. We'll start with our guest, Carly Lear of Vault Title.
Carly Lear at Vault Title. You can call or text me at 330-608-8106, and my email is carly.lear, Lear, at vault-title.com.
And I'm Justin Humphreys with Humphreys Homes at Red One Realty. You can find me at Humphreys Homes on Instagram and Facebook. And you can find more information about me and Mark and the AMP program at agentmentorshipplatform.com.
And Doctor?
Mark Dandrea, the Doctor of Real Estate, founder of AMP. You can reach me or text me at 614-395-6275. And my email is doctorofrealestate, the numeral 1, at gmail.com. All spelled out, doctorofrealestate1 at gmail.com.
All right, in the home stretch, we got one more segment and then our final question for the episode of Lights, Camera, Action. We're up to our Mindset Matters segment. We're looking at work-life balance, always looking at faith, family, work, your social life, trying to make sense of all that while you're trying to have a career. A lot of times people that are in real estate are doing other things. And again, it could be family, it could be faith, it could be volunteer work. But what are those things we can do, our mindset, to help us stay focused and on task, moving forward, staying positive, and trying to be healthy with that work-life balance? Mark, you want to lead us off?
Again, just to reset the table, James, you said it really well. It's family, faith, even if it's in yourself, social life, and sometimes your work takes place outside of real estate. So one of the most important things that we talk a lot about on the AMP platform, we call it time blocking. It's just managing your time. There's a broad and deep understanding of these leaders, of the AMP platform team members, that, look, you've got stuff going on and you're trying to build a business. One of the first steps for that is to paint a vision. But the third step, I'll skip the middle step for another time, is blocking out time for your real estate business. My wife, my family understands that if it's not on my Gmail calendar, I will not be there. So my wife handles all of our social events. She tells me where I'm going and what time to be there. It goes onto my calendar. And the rest of my calendar is filled with real estate items, but it's on my calendar. So if you're a new agent and you want to bring that balance into your business very early in your career, time block, control your time, set aside time for yourself. I'll give you one quick example, and then we can move on. When I'm working with new agents, especially those that have work, I'll say, well, take me through your week. Say, okay, well, Monday through Friday, I work 9 to 5, and then Saturday and Sunday, I'm off. Great. So pick the best day that you might want to begin to involve yourself, deploy a marketing tool, or involve yourself in real estate. And they might say Tuesday. And they'll say, okay, what time would you like to start? And every time I'll get the answer, well, 5 o'clock. I get off at 5. I'll start. Let's set aside some time at 5. And I'll say, well, let's just slow that down. You got to get home from work unless you work from home. And you better take a break, right, from 5 to 5:30, or give yourself time to unwind, slow down, do something first let's start this first period of time at 5:30. So there's some psychology to it. It's important that you give yourself time to breathe in between your appointments. So we focus on time blocking, and Justin and James and Carly, I cannot emphasize that tool enough. So you want to organize your life, block out time, set aside time, use a calendar, use a whiteboard, use a family planner, but keep yourself organized and relax in between.
Now, Carly, we were talking off mic about your little dog. So you got the dog to mix with, but your husband, you finding time for family for the two of you or the three of you with the dog. But what's that look like for you? What's that work-life balance? How do you mix all that, and how do you stay focused on doing what you need to do to help the agents that you serve?
Yeah. I would say it's tougher in my position, and not. It's also tough for you guys to have customers and you want to be available to them 24/7. I advertise that. Please call me if you have an issue, all of that good stuff. Even with that, I do try to, around 8 o'clock, we put our phones down, me and my husband, so we can catch up on our favorite TV shows, spend time with the dog, take a walk. So even if it's just an hour and a half, hour, 2 hours, just making sure that, phones down, family up, all of that good stuff. So that's something that we try to do for sure.
Very good. Justin?
Yeah, I think collectively our attention span getting worse and worse. So I find myself when I get into that mode of I feel a little bit scrambled or I'm not sure what I should be working on, that calendar blocking is so important because I have a format that I can look back at and I can reference to. Oh, it's Tuesday, it's 1 o'clock. Here's my calendar for the day. Here's what I need to be working on for the next hour. So that keeps me together. That calendar blocking and time blocking is really, really important for me. And not just the work stuff. If you don't set aside time to take a break for yourself, you will take unintended breaks and it won't be in a good way. So
that's right.
Set aside that self-care is important. Even as weird as that sounds coming from a 35-year-old guy, take, even if it's like, walking the dog, that can be beneficial for you as well. Going, treating yourself to something, having a 10-minute meditation, whatever. Make sure when you're calendar blocking to cushion your goals and tasks with a little bit of time to take care of yourself as well. But definitely calendar block no matter what you do.
Yeah, I've struggled with work-life balance my entire life. I enjoy what I do and all the jobs I've ever had, so it's never felt like work. But at the same time, I can be in a studio where I don't always have windows, working on a book or doing production. I look down, it was like 2:30. Next time I look up, it's 6:30. I'm almost missing dinner, got to rush home. Not good. I try to block out weekends for family. Certainly Sundays, I try not to work at all. Church, family, afternoon lunch somewhere. But it can be challenging. And that's something I'm constantly working on for my own self-improvement is finding that magical work-life balance.
It requires you to be really disciplined. It's something I struggle with. I look at my 8-year-old daughter and she's doing a calendar on her wall right now. I didn't start doing that until like 3 or 4 years ago. So,
well, the fun it's when you joined AMP.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's when I started.
Good for her though.
She does a great job with it. I don't know where she got it from.
Here's what she's doing for herself. The really fun thing about this, whenever we start in this kind of training with our AMP agents who are newer, the thought process going into it is this is going to create pressure on me to actually achieve these things that I have on my calendar. Yeah, well, it's going to. Hold yourself accountable. Well, after we get through the exercise, James, what every one of them says is, man, I feel so much better. I don't feel the pressure of, having to think about things. They're right here, right in front of me. I can achieve them. So actually being organized is not a pressure-filled thing. It actually relieves a lot of pressure in your life, especially when you give yourself those self-care times.
Good stuff. It is the AMP Podcast, Episode 6, Lights, Camera, Action, brought to you by Vault Title, Griffith Insurance Group, and Red One Realty. Our special guest today, Carly Lear of Vault Title. Next week, we have got Malika Smith of Smith Homes. She is the real estate matchmaker. She'll be sharing some insights on real estate investing. And, of course, we'll be talking about all the wonderful things about the AMP platform. If you ever want more information on that, you can go to the website, agentmentorshipplatform.com. Now, in terms of the training that goes on, we got the dates, the times, all that stuff. You can also audit a class. Certainly get a hold of Mark or Justin. They'll tell you when you can come in. sit on a class, get a feel, especially if you're new to the industry, considering getting into the industry, considering becoming a Red One Realty agent, any and all those things. Great opportunity to come in and find out what makes Red One Realty different and what the AMP platform is all about. All right, we made it to the end. Time for the payoff. Today's episode titled Lights, Camera, Action. Going to have some fun. I want you to take a moment, think about the actor or the actress that would play you in real life in your made-for-TV movie. Yeah, take a second. And Carly, I'm going to give you extra time. I'm going to start with Justin first.
I'm a big movie buff, so there's tons of names flying around in my head. But to portray me in the most flattering way possible, I would probably have to take Leonardo DiCaprio.
All right.
I'm not saying we look alike. I'm not saying we're similar, but
Sure you are.
I think Leo could paint me in a great light. So I'm gonna go with Leo.
All right. Now, Carly, I know this is kind of new to you, so I'm going to give you a few extra seconds to think about it. Who is that actress that's going to be playing Carly Lear in that made-for-TV movie?
All right. I would say the one I get most often lookalike-wise, Anna Kendrick, if anyone's familiar with Pitch Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just watched The Accountant the other day. She's in that too. with
All
Ben
right,
Affleck.
that was
Yes.
also a good one. Yeah, so I get that a lot. But who I truly want to play me because I love her and think she's very funny is Melissa McCarthy. I think she could bring
She is
a
hilarious.
special
awesome.
spice to my story.
Love it. Love it.
I absolutely love that. If someone were to portray me in my life, it would be Al Pacino.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I can see that.
He's Italian. I'm Italian. I'm not saying we look alike. Followed his career, love him as an actor, and I think he would do a very good job portraying me in a story of my life. No offense, Mr. Pacino, you are significantly shorter than I am. Other than that, it would go really well.
Well, Mark, we had a consultation one time with a prospective real estate agent who's actually gearing up to get his license now. This was like last year, and he told me, he said, that guy's like Matthew McConaughey. Yeah. That I've heard you've been described as that, so I got to throw that out there into the universe.
I'll have to remember that.
Well, all right. So for me, I'd have to be Michael Chiklis or Bruce Willis back in the day. Those would be the two.
I
Those are
love
two
Michael
really good
Chiklis.
ones.
Probably had to shave about 100 pounds off, but for me,
It's all right.
for them, to portray me.
What was
you look
what
good.
was Michael the commish, right?
He was in the commish,
Yes.
and then it was a Shield, I think, on
Yeah,
FX.
Shield, yep.
And he was the
Very
Thing
good.
in the Fantastic Four.
He's coming back. He's been in a bunch of stuff lately. He was on a great HBO show I just watched called Winning Time about the LA Lakers. Magic Johnson's rookie couple seasons there. He plays the guy that ran the Boston Celtics for a long time during that 70s era, but love Michael Chiklis.
Who's
That'd be
the
a
actor
great-
that plays Jerry Buss in that? He's been in a bunch of Will Ferrell stuff.
John C. Reilly.
I like him a lot.
Well,
But I
I
hit a
personally just
button.
want to thank Carly for coming today.
Yes.
You're our first guest. It was couldn't thought of anybody better to come and represent Vault Title and give us some great tidbits. So we love seeing you around the office. We're really appreciative of you coming to the podcast. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Carly, thank you. Appreciate you very
Very
much.
welcome.
Yes, thanks, Carly. Great job. All right, so closing out episode 6, Lights, Camera, Action with a quote from Babe Ruth. Played for the Boston Red Sox, the Boston Braves. Every strike brings me closer to a home run. Just like every third no takes you closer to that one yes, right? Okay, on behalf of the Doctor of Real Estate, Mark Dandrea, Justin Humphreys of Humphreys Homes, I'm James Minter with Buckeye Media Services. Thank you so much for listening to the AMP Podcast. Have a great day.